Hi, I'm Sam, and today I'm feeling inspired by photographer Pelle Cass. In this episode, we're gonna look at his work, we're gonna break down the rules and principles he uses to create a photograph, and then we're gonna try it ourselves to create a photograph inspired by Pelle Cass. Let's go. Pelle Cass is this photographer and artist from Boston. He uses this awesome style where essentially he takes time-lapse photography, but he collapses it down into one frame. His series called Selected People focuses on people in these seemingly mundane situations. There's some photos where people are just organized perfectly in the scene, but in other photos, it seems like chaos because everyone's overlapping. The way I think he's doing this is probably setting his camera on a tripod and angling down on these scenes and taking pictures over the course of a couple minutes if it's a really busy place, or a couple hours if it's a not so busy place. The light has to remain consistent in his scene, so he can't shoot for too long, otherwise the shadows will move. When I was researching Pelle Cass, I found some rules that he made for himself that he applies to his own work. His first rule is he doesn't change anything in a photo. He doesn't doctor or move a single pixel. He simply decides what's put in or left out of the photo. Another rule he has is that people tend to clump, so he looks for children or birds or some other elements that he can use to fill in the gaps. But my favorite of the rules that he has is probably this one, where he never gives up the opportunity to make a joke, visual or otherwise. And I love that because you can see that in a lot of his photos. Like this photo, for example, where all the people in the photo are businessmen wearing the exact same thing, a blue button-down shirt and khaki pants. Then there's this photo where you can tell he's playing a little bit of a visual trick. He's only including people who have red shirts, so it looks like everyone in the scene is wearing a red shirt. Or this one, where everyone's wearing yellow or orange. This one is interesting because this joke is so meta. He's only including people in the photo who are looking at camera. So it's kind of unsettling. Everybody in the scene is just staring at him. This is probably one of my favorite images of his, because it seems like almost a Where's Waldo or I Spy image. There's just so much going on that you can zoom into any part of the image and find something interesting going on. Aside from Amsterdam being really flat, which makes it hard for me to get a high vantage point looking down, we're also in a lockdown, which doesn't bode well for getting like big crowds of people. As you can see, it's pretty empty right now. Cool, so this is one possible location. I mean, it's better than nothing, actually. Yeah, I think this could work. We're on an overpass overlooking Vondel Park. There's so many people walking by and on bikes, walking dogs. So we're outside of Amsterdam Central and we're gonna go to the bike parking lot because it's a multi-story bike parking lot, and see if we can climb to the top of that, see if we can photograph from like a higher vantage point looking down. Oh, this is actually perfect. You know, we got people walking by, we got bikes coming in and out. Location seems perfect. The only thing I'm worried about is I'm afraid the mist might burn off and change my exposure during my time-lapse sequence. We're gonna set up right here in this little corner. There's so many people in different modes of transportations. We got like skateboarders up here. We've got a train going by. We got people walking. We got people on bicycles, and they're all going in different directions. You can't just set it and forget it and hope that you capture something. You're looking for patterns. One pattern that I'm noticing already is a lot of people are on their phones as they walk. Some Amsterdammers are skilled enough to bicycle and text at the same time, so maybe we can capture some of that too. Maybe I'm coming to the exact same observation that Pelle had, which is his whole thesis for this project. It's so interesting to look at a single location and think of the history of it, and just think of all the different little micro activities or actions or events that happened at this place. We've only been photographing this location for, I don't know, 10 minutes, and so much has already happened. We moved to our second location, and this one's a little bit different. This one doesn't have like the crisscross intersection where people can go a lot of different ways. It's a bridge, so they can only really go one way. Back at the computer, we've got all of our photos imported, and now we're gonna take a look and see what we got. I'm gonna start like Pelle does and just flick through, start seeing if I notice any coincidences or patterns or interesting moments in the photos. Noticing a lot of couples walking. Maybe I could do something with couples. Here's another couple. Ooh, they're sharing a bike in this one. A couple times I've seen 3 people on one bike. It's easy to walk and look at your phone, but people in the Netherlands are also good at riding their bikes while looking at their phones. This girl's biking and looking at her phone, and she has headphones in. It's pretty talented. So we're gonna star that one. This guy's on his phone. So this one's interesting. She's on her phone the whole way through, so we could choose any of these images to use. Is that a phone? That looks like a Capri Sun. I can't tell. Let's take all these into Photoshop as separate layers. So let's see if we have a blank canvas where it's mostly blank. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding in the layers one by one and masking out each person. I didn't have a remote shutter for the camera on the tripod. It moved a little bit here and there, so we're gonna cheat a little bit and we're gonna auto align all of the layers. Lovely, much better. So now the only difference is the exposure, but I think we can work with that. Let's just focus on layering in all our people. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a layer mask. We're gonna invert it. We know where she is roughly. And then we can just paint her in. We don't have to go in too much, but essentially, just added her in, just like that. Cool, let's go to the next one. So we'll add a layer mask, we'll invert it, and then we'll just paint her in. Pelle's technique is deceiving. It looks so straightforward. You just slap a camera onto a tripod and just take a lot of photos. But obviously it's not that simple. This effect works best when the composition is pretty minimal, so you can focus on the people. I was caught in the middle of trying to have a dope composition and having a minimal composition, and so it's the worst of both worlds, and it clearly doesn't work. Another learning is I didn't take enough photos. I could have had better positioning with my subjects if I was more patient. I was trying to get all the wheels of the bikes to align, and I just didn't have enough photos because I didn't stay there long enough taking photos. And probably the most important one is that I picked cloudy days to film, and the exposure changed too much in between shots. And so it was a real hassle trying to match the color and match the tones between the shots before I could even paint the people in. So what do you think? Which of these photos is the most successful in replicating Pelle's style? You can let me know in the comments below, or you can check out my Instagram because I posted them there. And if you want to see Pelle's work, you can find a link in the description below. Thanks for watching.